All right, welcome back, everyone. We are talking about stand your ground. And what I want is, I want to remind everybody, if you think this is just Florida, you got to think again here. 16 states have something either identical or extremely similar to what Florida has on the books right now. And if I can read through it here, the law, which it's called stand your ground. Critics say it's shoot first, ask questions later. Wherever you fall down on this, this is what the law actually is. And enacted in 2005, it allows potential crime victim who's in fear of great bodily injury to use force, even deadly force, in public places. Now, it extends the so-called castle doctrine, obviously your own home. It extends that idea that a person has a right to not only defend his own home with force, but outside of that home, removing the duty to retreat. Now, the Florida law explicitly states that if you are attacked, you're not obligated to back up here, and you have the right to use force if you, quote, reasonably believe it's necessary to do so to prevent death or great bodily harm to yourself or another, or to prevent the commission of a forcible felony here. All right, that's what it is. And I ask you, Mr. Former Prosecutor, as the language is written in that law, does that justify or allow Zimmerman's actions?
I don't think it does. I don't think stand your ground has anything to do with this case. We're not talking about retreat. He apparently was following this kid, and the police told him not to. And so I guess the question is, why was he following? Why was he putting himself in a position where he ultimately used deadly force? He didn't have to do that.
But let's say, Professor, that he did reasonably believe that he was in danger, whether or not that turned out to be valid belief or not. He saw him reaching for the Skittles pack or whatever and thought, is that, the way it's written in my mind, reasonably believe, almost excuses him because he thought there was a potential danger.
That's a factual question for a jury. We use reasonableness in lots of parts, in lots of our legal doctrines, reasonable doubt, and so on. Reasonableness is a critical element in our law, but a jury would have to find that he did reasonably believe that his life was in danger and that he was required to use deadly force to protect his life at the moment that he shot and killed this boy.
Let me ask a hypothetical question. In Florida, it seems it's not too hard to have a concealed weapon permit.
Right.
What happens if somebody with a concealed weapon permit is walking to their house and somebody else with a concealed weapon permit decides, even though they were advised not to, that they're a sketchy character? Mm-hmm. One guy pulls his gun and the other one does as well. Is it basically
okay, Corral?
It sounds. I mean, it sounds like.
Yeah, but that sounds like it. But that's not this case.
No, it's not. But I will tell you where this gets even scarier. If you thought it's as bad as it is in Florida, I want you to consider Indiana. And when I'm speaking of Indiana, this is Mitch Daniels, who's considered a potential presidential running mate here for Mitt Romney. Now, Indiana's right to resist law, I can't believe this, but I'm going to do this verbatim so nobody accuse me later of. It allows people to resist police with deadly force if a citizen reasonably thinks police are illegally entering their home or car. If force is the only way to protect themselves or someone else from harm, if the citizen must first try to withdraw from the account of the police. So if people think that the cops are illegally going into their car or home, who makes them an expert in this? They're now allowed to draw on a cop. What are we doing in this country?
It's a dangerous law, of course.
Every fraternal order of police is going, you can figure out what they're going, but this is Mitch Daniels who's supporting this. This is crazy.
It's crazy. But Richard, I understand what you're saying. I don't want to divert back, but you know what's really crazy, and this is what has African Americans throughout this country outraged? The police department in this Florida town, they almost got away with murder. They almost got away with it. They whitewashed this. As a journalist, I'm not going to say it's because Daddy was a retired judge, but that raises a lot of questions, and it answers a lot of questions here. For why the body was tested and not the suspect. Explain that to me.
Dominic,
Tom, we're good friends. You grew up in the hood.
I grew up in the hood.
I have a lot of respect for you. Explain to me why the suspect was not tested for drugs and the young dead corpse was.
Dominic, I am 90% in your corner on this one, but,
I know you are.
But taking the leap that we know 30 days later, all of the facts in this case, we don't.
His father is a retired judge, and they were looking out for their buddy. He called 911 46 other times, and it's alleged that he used the word coon in one of those tapes.
Dominic, listen, there is no doubt, as I said, that I believe that this guy is a creep and has a lot of problems. The part that I got to get to is what happened in that little 2-minute period where it seems now.
We'll keep that debate going in the commercial break. We'll do these two guys here. And Bennett, I want to thank you. As you can see, no